Remember who the real enemy is.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 5D Gramma, where we are awakening humanity one soul at a time. And tonight we are breaking the matrix with my co-host, Jamie DiChiera. Hello,
hey,
Jamie.
Hey, Grandma. Hey, everybody. Glad to be here.
Yes. So I have been doing some research on Meghan Walsh. She is getting ready to try and come in. She's having Wi-Fi problems right now. And I'm wondering if she is just not going to be able to come on for some reason. She said she's had a lot of storms, but this is a heartbreaking story of CPS. Oh, here she is. Taking children. And Meghan is the sister of Adam Walsh. I'm sure you guys all remember Adam Walsh, and she's the daughter of John and Reva. I'm not sure if I said that name right. Anyways, Walsh. What's the name? What was the name of John Walsh's?
He did America's Most Wanted back like in the 80s. Like when I was young, I remember my parents always had it on, like right. true life, true crime stuff.
Okay, so before we bring Meghan on, I wanted to just sort of play an uplifting clip to know we are at war, and this is about the children. And so I want to go ahead and play this clip real quick, Jamie, before we bring her on.
Okay.
You know which one this is.
Fellow Christian warriors, set yourselves apart from this corrupt generation. Be saints. That is the freedom that I wish for you. Freedom from sin. Freedom from our weaknesses. Freedom from the slavery that sin makes out of all of us. That is the freedom that is worth dying for. Kind of reminds me of the words that Mel Gibson first intoned in his Academy Award-winning film Braveheart, when he said to his ragtag army, and I say to you tonight, I see before me a whole army of my countrymen here in defiance of tyranny. You've come to fight as free men, and free men you are. What will you do without freedom? Will you fight? No! Yeah, fight, you may die. Run and you live. At least a while. Dying in your beds many years from now, would you have been willing to trade all the years from this day to that for one chance? Just one chance to come back here and tell our enemies that you can take our lives, you can never take our freedom. Every man dies. Not every man truly lives. You. We must fight for that authentic freedom and live, my friend. By God we must live, and with the Holy Spirit as your shield and Christ as your sword, may you join Saint Michael and all the angels in defending God and sending Lucifer and his henchmen straight right back to hell where they belong. storm is upon us. But not without Jesus, our rudder. And in the words of Reagan, evil is powerless if the good are unafraid. God bless you.
I want to say thank you to iDrop Media for that. They have the best little clips. They are on Telegram, they are on Rumble, and that's iDrop Media, you guys. Great digital work from them. So Meghan is here, Miss Jamie. I'm going to bring her on.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hi, Meghan. Welcome to the show. Ooh, can you?
Hi, ladies. How are you tonight? Thanks for having me.
Hi, Meghan.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming on.
I'm going to apologize ahead of time. Oh, no, thank you for having me. I'm going to apologize ahead of time to everyone. We've had storms lately in Florida, so the connection's been weird, but thank you very much for having me.
Excellent. I have to tell you that I've been crying all afternoon, just it's heart-wrenching to watch, and I know you can't talk about the case or anything, but to watch what has happened to you. And then it just makes me really angry that they can get away with this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. So
yeah.
It's the way that they use, psychiatrists and lawyers and to manipulate this in lawfare against
our
people.
System's broken.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Ladies, it unfortunately truly is. And it's sad that we're at that point now, but it's time to really drop the pride as the American people who say that we care about our children first, who say that we care about our country first. And, lately it's just really been very clear to me that we're literally putting the mask on everyone else except for ourselves first on the airplane. We really are looking at everything else. This is a hard reality to look at. And just like you both said, so decisively, and this is a broken system. This is a racket. You named, just several of the different people involved or different and people that are contracted through the system. And it truly is something that we need to address, actually, first and foremost at this time.
Right. Now, can you talk about, Stu Peters did a documentary called These Little Ones, and he highlighted a case in that of baby Cyrus from Idaho. That's just one town next to mine. And can I play some clips about that to show what's been done, what's being done, or will that impact your case?
No, absolutely. That was a wonderful documentary. This is, again, I came out about my as an advocate against the corrupt in the system and family courts. We are not against good people. This is not we should all be the same thing, and that's our children. We know that over 77% removals by ECF, CPS, whatever it is in your area, at this point are unfounded. And there's a lot of different aspects that we'll get into, after these clips. But that was a wonderful documentary. I actually I interviewed for that with Stu, and I was in the trailer for that actually. But it was a wonderful documentary that came out that people, we really hoped that people would start looking into it because it is in every community across this country. So baby Cyrus was a great example of that. His family and the community really came together. It really could have been and needs to be at this point tenfold to that. But you know, he's one example, just like I'm one example. Is my point here, ladies. I'm coming out, and we stand strong because there are countless testimonies across our great nation that we say, you know, that is our children being stolen from loving families. And now it's getting subjective. It's getting, you know, very, very loose. And we need to all be concerned if you have children in your lives that you care about.
Absolutely. Now, I want to just, before I get started, there is, you guys, on my channel, I mirrored that documentary called These Little Ones, and you can search my channel. And down below, there is some links for Meghan. And we'll get into that later. But also, before I get started, I'm supposed to ask you, what does NCMEC stand for? Which Jamie knows.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. It's NCMEC or NCMEC, they go by. It stands for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. It was founded by my family. For who aren't aware, the viewers that aren't aware, my brother was Adam Walsh, little boy with a baseball bat that was kidnapped from the Sears department store in 1981, and towards missing children, exploited children, up until present day now.
Oh my gosh, you're breaking up. I'm sorry, I can't. Meghan.
Oh, no.
It's okay. It's okay. I have a little clip.
Broken.
I have a little clip that
Oh, no.
explains this, so you don't have to talk all about Adam's thing. But can you stand closer to your router?
I think it's the Wi-Fi. I'm in Florida too, Megan, and it's literally storming outside right now. So I'm sure it's probably the weather that's messing with your thing.
So
yeah, I have to agree. We didn't even know yet, so I apologize.
That's okay. It just happens. It's part of this game we're in right now. So I have a little clip because I can't really understand what you're saying about that. And I'm just going to play it so people can get refreshed on who your brother is. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Danger growing up, it's probably because of this case. John and Reve Walsh said that they were living the American dream when their first son, Adam, was born. Adam was 6 when he accompanied his mom to a Sears department store. When they entered, some boys were gathered around a gaming system, I believe it was an Atari, and his mom agreed to let him stay and watch the boys play. She shopped a few aisles over and was gone for only 3 minutes before she returned to find that area empty. She found this 17-year-old security guard who told her that the boys had gotten too rowdy and they were kicked out of the store. This exit led directly into the parking lot. Being a shy and non-confrontational boy, Adam likely just followed directions and left. John Walsh rushed to the scene from work and now says that both the police officers and Sears staff did not have proper training on how to deal with a missing child. One of the responding officers even told John Walsh that Adam was probably walking home even though he was 6 years old and didn't know how to get to the mall, which was 5 miles away from their house. 2 weeks later, Adam's severed head was found floating in a canal. 2 years later, Otis Toole confessed from prison saying that he abducted Adam in that parking lot. You might be familiar with Otis Toole and Henry Lee Lucas because they confessed to hundreds of murders from their prison cells, and a lot of these murders were impossible for them to commit based on the time and place. But Otis Toole did drive a blue van, and that was the vehicle that witnesses said that they saw Adam being pulled into. Police searched the van and they did find a blood stain, and they cut out the piece of the carpet to test. But somehow the police lost both the piece of carpeting as well as the van, so no forensic testing was ever done. Otis Toole died in prison without ever being charged with Adam's murder, but his parents do believe that they identified the right person. Others have connected Jeffrey Dahmer to this case because he worked at a Miami sub shop that also had a blue van that he would drive. The witnesses who saw Adam's kidnapping also say that Jeffrey Dahmer more closely resembles the man they saw. It's possible that his mugshot was just so publicized that it kind of clouded their memories. And while dismemberment was part of what Jeffrey Dahmer did, his victims were all much older than Adam. Miraculously, some good did come out of this tragedy. John Walsh identified a gap in both police departments as well as the general public and how to handle missing children investigations. With the help of President Reagan, John and Reve Walsh helped found the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The 24-hour toll-free missing children's hotline 1-800-THE-LOST was also established. John Walsh might ring a bell if you're into true crime, and that's because he's the host of In Pursuit with John Walsh and was the host of America's Most Wanted. After what happened to his son, he devoted his life to victims advocacy, fighting crime, and putting criminals behind bars. In fact, he's helped bring...
So I bet the end of that was not real pleasing for you.
Yeah. I think people need to understand that this is very difficult for me. I've honored my parents my entire life, and I am part of the public. I was given the same exact story or facts or whatever, wherever we're at this point, I was given the same thing as the public. And we're here asking questions. The fact that I started asking questions as an advocate, especially, and as a 38-year-old mother, instead of having these conversations and talking to me about it, or maybe even being proud, this children and my life is essentially taken from me. So it's brought a lot of issues to the forefront. It's been validating on a lot of things, but we have a lot of questions still there. And my brother's murder, has been controversial since the day it happened. I am not the first person by far, as we just saw, to question what has happened. And actually, the other 4 years later,
Your audio just got off again. Like, it's good for about 2 minutes, and then it starts
in and out. Yeah,
goes out. How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I was saying, I really think it's time after 41 years for the American public to go to justiceforadam.com and really look at all of the case files. The police reports are all for free there. They're all available, and they aren't extensive. People can easily read through them. We have a lot of people that are researching these days and doing great work. Looking back at, narrative versus truth, and questioning what that is. So I highly encourage, again, that's justiceforadam.com for anyone that's interested. And please reach out to me if you, find anything, because we're all in this together. The same with the corruption within the system. This affects our children. This affects all of us. And the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children has really been raised up to this almost above government authority organization. And we have questions for them. We want to know their connections. We want to know their affiliations. And what about the world's largest child porn database that they have control over? Who has oversight on that? Who has access to that? What are they doing in regards to the Child Protective Services? NECMA and CMEC themselves, is in conjunction with the FBI, state that reported, and that's only the reported, where 88 to 92% of child trafficking comes from the foster care system. If we end the foster care system and we find better ways, that we don't even have to find them. There's so many good people that have better ways, that have experienced this. There's children that are aging out, that have been put through this trauma. It's affected the rest of their lives. Children have rights too, ladies. The American public talks all about protecting our children and children's rights, but we really need to start looking at what that is. Time changes everything. We're at a new place in society, and we really need to be stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that a lot of us, I've talked about this the last couple of days, how we all feel like there's someone that's going to step up and take control, take charge, and save us. A lot of people think, that's Trump. I do believe that not only for our nation, but like we're talking about the children here, is that there are people that need to stand up. And why shouldn't that be us? Why shouldn't we stand up in our communities? We need to start doing stuff locally to be able to help, especially the children, because that's what all of this is about, right? They're our future. That's everything.
Absolutely. And we know, and everyone rants and raves about a child trafficking issue in our country and across our globe. So are we denying? What do we think that looks like in America? We have it right in our faces. This is a racket. These are professional traffickers. Okay, they have perfected this system. They are profiting billions. They do not want to lose this. And it is something that, yes, we can have leaders, we can have people that are figureheads and come forward, and we need that. That's great. But you know what? We as the people, this is our children. This is our responsibility. These are our children. We are the parents. We have to we want all this power. We want all these rights. We go out every day and beat our chest about it. But when it's put in our laps to take control because we don't like how it sounds, or we've been fed a different narrative and these cliche scripts that we now believe because we've heard them so often, the best interest of the children, they must have done something. There's more to the story. They don't take children for no reason. Yes, they do. Again, we are at over 77% of removals are unfounded. We have the science now. We have the statistics. We have the countless testimonies from not only grown, sane, loving parents, their families, their communities, but also these children. And in this system is all about money. It is cattle. It is a system. And by default and definition, a system can never address something that is sacred. Our children and our families are sacred. And we as communities, this is happening in every single community as we speak right now. There are children being removed. This is not Epstein. This is not evergreen. It's not a drama. It's not a Trump fun thing. It's not fun. It's horrific. And people need to start understanding these are our children. You cannot talk about pedophiles. You cannot talk about trans and school boards. You can't talk about masking children when you are ignoring children that are in front of your face. It's not tunnels. It's not, yes, that happens. But this is every day in front of your face. And this is something that we need to focus on. You need to focus on this if you have children or you care about the future of our country, because this is trauma-based mind control. This is lifelong trauma that is splitting these children, breaking these children, drugging these children, having these children molested and ruined and even killed and murdered at this point. And it's murdering parents. Parents are committing suicide. Children in this are committing suicide. And what they're doing is attempted murder. When you take when someone loses a loved one, that is a grief process. That is a traumatic, horrific thing. And when your children are taken from you, this is not about, that affects the children. That causes brain damage. We know that. And you know what? These are adult issues. If any money is going anywhere, ladies, it needs to be going towards success. I want to see incentives and quotas being met on showing families that have succeeded and won through the help of our government and our communities over substance abuse, over financial struggles, over domestic violence. I want us to truly, truly be doing what we can, and that is through our communities. I need everyone to please go into their communities and just go on your computer, you guys. Go on your computer and look up your county's CPS office. Look up who their attorneys are. Look up who is contracted to handle case plans. Look who then is contracted out and affiliated with them or on their board of directors, who donates to them, who's on your commission. These are 2-second searches and you have your entire racket.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. I'm going to do that.
Do it. No,
Please.
it's great advice, because all of these people, they're all connected. The more that I learn about what's actually going on in this world, and the more you start looking into it, the more you see everyone is connected. So I think that's an awesome idea, Megan, because you can look up and see this attorney, and then you can look up, okay, where's his office? Who's located in his office? There's webs. Everything is interconnected through all of this. That's a fantastic point.
They all know each other, Jamie. You know, they all know each other. We're all in towns, okay? Like, how many of us are in huge cities versus our communities and our towns? And you know the families that have been there forever. You know the commissioners. You know this person is on the school board married to this local judge. You know that. And this is not that crazy. We've been given these crazy narratives so that we look crazy, so that people will not listen because they don't want to be, no pun intended, but trumped up to that. And, this is something that is, this is the one issue, ladies and viewers, that has no divide. There's no debate about it. This is our children. They are being injured and tormented and terrorized and broken and murdered and sold. Okay. We have, I've gone on many broadcasts for 2 years now. There are many of us that have come together and we have broken this down, even to Epstein. Okay. You don't need to be handed a list. Everyone start taking the power of your life. It's very simple. It's very peaceful. It's wonderful. And we're not going to be able to get to a new place if we are looking for a savior, that's not Jesus, so, Jesus is our only savior. And that's, and for those that, hate hearing that, or that triggers them, what does Jesus represent? The attributes of Jesus are compassion and empathy and forgiveness, all of these wonderful things, loving thy neighbor as thyself. And, why would anyone be against that? Why wouldn't we want that if nothing else, and especially for our children? That's what our children require. That's what, handling these very, very hard, horrific situations, there is real child abuse. There is real neglect. And there are also good people that want to help and want to get involved. But unfortunately, we have a system that was not created by us. We allowed the men out of the homes. We allowed, for us to be women wanting to work and prove ourselves out of the home. And our children are now in institutions and being indoctrinated and taught things that are not from us. And it's not unique. And this is a huge danger to our future and for our children.
Absolutely. Now, I want to go ahead and get into this baby Cyrus so everyone can get a real understanding of what is actually happening.
Proof, and that families are often placed under gag orders in order to prevent them from speaking out. We also discovered the financial incentives given to states in cases involving the taking of children. And we discovered this is an issue that isn't limited to just Idaho. It's an issue found throughout the United States.
I really don't want you to go to jail tonight, but I'm telling you, if you don't allow this to happen, you're going to jail.
So what exactly happened with baby Cyrus? How did this whole thing start?
So to summarize the whole thing as quickly as possible, my daughter and my son-in-law raising baby Cyrus. He's doing great. He's exclusively breastfed. By the time he reached about 7.5 months, they started introducing solid foods. He didn't take the solid foods very well, started throwing up. They started going to different doctors and specialists to try to figure out what the problem for him throwing up was. They ultimately ended up at a place called Functional Medicine of Idaho, and the nurse practitioner there was supposed to be doing some reviews on him after they had previously been in a hospital getting every single lab test and everything imaginable done on baby Cyrus. And so he was supposed to do a review after the hospital had discharged him with a clean bill of health. They'd run every single test imaginable, and they said, we can't find anything wrong with him. And they even said by their own admission that as far as the lab tests are concerned and the blood tests, he's like one of the healthiest babies they've ever seen. So they wanted to do a couple of reviews. The following Monday, he was discharged on a Friday. The following Monday, they go to this nurse practitioner named Aaron Dykstra of Functional Medicine of Idaho, and he did a review, did a weigh-in, everything's fine. He wanted to come back again Thursday, so this is Monday, he wanted to come back on Thursday, and that Wednesday before their follow-up, baby Cyrus got sick again, started throwing up. So he started throwing up, loses some weight, gets a little dehydrated. So the next day when they go back, which is Thursday, baby Cyrus had lost 35 grams, which is like 1.23 ounces or something like that. So from there to there, he didn't like that he'd lost 35 grams. So whatever that makes him upset, makes him bothered, he wants them to come back the following morning for another weigh-in. So now it's Friday morning, he wants them to come back. They said that's fine. So when Marissa woke up the following morning, Marissa's my daughter, the mother of baby Cyrus, she wasn't feeling too well. She was feeling a little under the weather. And so she calls into the clinic and says, I'm not going to come in today for my appointment because I'm not feeling that good, feeling under the weather. And then she went to sleep. She went back to sleep. And when she went back to sleep, they called her back, called her a second time. And because she didn't answer the phone, her appointment was at 10 o'clock in the morning, Josh. At 10:20, Aaron Dykstra had called CPS and started this whole thing down the line. He called CPS. CPS then texted her. And when she woke up, she saw the text from CPS. An hour later, 2 police officers show up at my front door looking for them. So then I told Levi, hey, you better call them back, see what in the world is going on. So he...
So that was the first clip that just sort of, it's mind-blowing. They can do this.
It is mind-blowing. And I think there's a lot of people who might be skeptical that see this video and maybe they're a little skeptical. But I feel like that's kind of like a lot of things in life, right? People don't really like to believe stuff until it happens to them. And once it happens to them, then it kind of like does that click, turn the light on, like, holy shit, like, yeah, this really does happen. But people need to realize that it doesn't happen to you for it to mean that it actually is happening all the time, all over the place, to real people every single day.
I know that.
It truly is. It's happening.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Sabrina. No, it is happening every single day, and that's the issue that we need to address. Not only does America have an issue with we're not going to do something until it happens to us, but we become very subjective and opinionated. The CPS is supposed to be about child abuse and neglect. It's not about how you feel someone should raise their children or what you feel. Feeling this is a system, and we have a criminal justice system. If a child is being starved, beaten, any of that, those parents should have criminal charges on them. That really shouldn't be a question. The issue we're having now is that this is civil or kangaroo court. It's usually started within family court. This is not just CPS. It's usually started in family court, and
oh no, she just got disconnected. I was going to say, when people hear, oh, CPS took their child, the first thing they think is, well, what'd she do?
Yeah.
What'd she do? Oh, I guess they probably needed to. No. Anyways, let's see. I think she's trying to come back in. Here she is. You there?
Hello from Florida. No, just kidding. The storm is here. No, I was just saying, we really need to realize that this is the weaponization of this system. It is being weaponized against parents. We're seeing this in our justice and our law system as we speak, and many other aspects across our country. Where criminals are being let out on the streets, and every day people are being locked up and put behind bars. This is also happening within the courts of our child protective services in terms of the abusers being handed the children and the protective parent being truly demonized and terrorized and broken to give up. This creates more and more money. It is truly all about the money, and it is not about what is in the best interest of these children.
No, and what
baby Cyrus and sorry, real quick before, I'm sorry, Jamie. Baby Cyrus brings up a very big point within this, a very big issue regarding medical kidnapping. People do not understand that, a lot of hospitals had a CPS desk or an office even in the lower sections of the hospital. Now they do report to DCF or CPS And they get approximately $800 a child that they report. There have been people that have come forward saying that they've worked with nurses, that they have heard, make the phone call and say, even I've got a healthy one. Adoption is really what, where the money is. Adoption is the money maker. And so anything that they can do to get to adoption, especially taking healthy, beautiful children, that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, what I was going to say is what you kind of just led into too, but about how Obamacare made all of this more possible, and the codes that they use and everything since Obamacare started was to help the trafficking, to help take kids away from their parents, to help their system be better and easier for them to do what they're doing.
Absolutely, Jamie. And, we have an issue now, even with the immigrant children coming over. That would be a whole other show there. And we need to really focus on our own children. But why I bring that up is that they are actually going to be putting all of them into Medicare and, Obamacare and all of this. There's a lot. I'm fighting going down a rabbit hole of our issue across the border. But yes, because it's huge, and our country is literally making more money off of those children, and we are taking in the children and handing the product back to the traffickers once they cross and get their work permits. So it is very horrific. I will go on a tangent for a moment while I say that, because I don't want to forget. I think that people also don't realize that in just several months, I believe it's less than 3 months, over 9.7 million Native Americans are actually looking and terrified of looking at losing the rights to their children. This is being voted on in less than 3 months. And, this is horrific. This is the start of us all losing our children.
Can you expand on that? I didn't hear anything about that.
It actually, we hadn't either, to be honest. I know that there is the Willow Project. You can look on TikTok for more information about that. And people are talking about that on TikTok for those that are interested in looking that up, as well as just the topic in general. But yeah, I mean, guys, this is all getting connected. It's not just the people. This is, Dr. Kingsley, if people aren't familiar with him, and pedophilia. This is Margaret Sanger and Parenthood, the board. And this is Hillary Clinton with ASFA. When ASFA came into play, this is what really created this system and the profit and the funding and all of that. This entails every politician. This involves everyone. They're all profiting, whether they're participating in it or not. They're turning a blind eye and they're profiting from it.
Yeah, and I think that kind of leads into what is going on in our country with the pushing of the trans movement, and with pedophilia, with them trying to act like it's a lifestyle and it's a choice, and all of the bull crap that they're saying about that. It leads back into this too, because like you said earlier, Megan, all of this is connected. All of these people are connected, and it really blows my mind. It blows my mind once. Guys, I don't know if you've researched this at all, or you see clips or anything, but if you do, you don't even have to go down the rabbit hole. Just kind of peek your head down that hole, and you're literally going to be shocked at how it's all connected and how sick all of this stuff is.
And it's in our face. I mean, This is all blatantly out there. This is not hard. Like you said, you don't have to go down some rabbit hole. This is government. This is our daily lives. These are parental rights. This is constitutional rights, liberty right, whatever you want to, it's every up and down. And so we need to be understanding that and really grounding ourselves in this issue. This is a very serious issue. This threatens each and every one of us. And that's not to fearmonger. That is, it's time to get real about this. Yeah. It is time. It's time for everyone also to be contacting their representatives, their county commissioners, and asking, as a concerned citizen of your county, of the United States of America, of your state, and you inquiring what they are doing and what their response is regarding CPS and the government trafficking of our children. It's with our tax dollars. They are literally taking our tax dollars. They are stealing our children, and then they are paying each other out and grooming good people. They are grooming the good people. You know, the system grooms social workers. The system grooms foster parents, just like we're talking about this trans grooming. And this is all stemming, as well as connected. It's deep, because this goes back to Nazi Germany. And I don't mean to sound crazy. This is very grounded for many reasons that I won't get into, but the pedophilia, they were experimenting and putting foster children with pedophiles. People have to understand that this is an ideology. These people, it's not just a sex-based thing, actually. This is an ideology that these men live by, and they believe. It is North American Man Boy Lovers Association, known as NAMLA. It is, you can look up their congressional, aspirations and what they presented, in front of legislation, stating that they will be in every bathroom, every church, every school, every place that you look, they will be there. And they believe that us as adults are ruining our children for the future by the way we raise them, in terms of not introducing sexual behavior from early on. Their motto is sex before 8 or it's too late. And this is absolute, beyond child abuse, beyond criminal. It's disgusting. It's actual. I mean, it's truly evil. And if people don't start asking themselves, what does evil look like? I don't know how to help from there, honestly, because we're there at this point. This is evil. And when we're doing this to families and children, and then furthermore, getting up every day and beating our chests about the good work we do, we're all living in hypocrisy. We're all part of this. If you're supporting brands or, local legislation or, effort, I mean, there's so many different ways that we all are complicit in this and keep this going. And being indifferent about it and not doing something about it, is a sin as well. And that's what many of us across this country and globe are doing.
Yeah. It is. This is what I was kind of talking to Jamie about. And it is that they use these psychiatrists against mothers. And what are the psychiatrists? Who do they follow? Oh, the godfather of psychiatry, Sigmund Freud, who's a total Luciferian pedophile and believes all the problems in the world are because of women and their penis envy.
Yes, that is correct. And Dr. Kinsey, it is based off of that. And again, this is part of Project Paperclip. I know people don't want to hear this, but this is history. This is not conspiracy. This is history. This is stemming from Project Paperclip, from the experiments of putting foster children with pedophiles and many others. It is splitting children. It's getting them younger and younger. It's towards androgyny. It's towards Pan or Baphomet as well, if you speak in or are interested in a spiritual or religious aspect to this, because that is the deepest part. That's really the most prevalent part of all of this. And it's breaking people. It's trauma-based mind control, and the trauma that's being inflicted is lifelong. And so that's where we are at, and people need to fundamentally understand that. I mean, in Nazi Germany, children were being stolen to be Germanized. They were literally kidnapping children to Germanize them. And we're at that. When you're subjectively taking children because they're homeschooled or because of medical decisions by their family that are responsible, or any of these subjective variables, we are at that place. You're stealing them to then put them with people that will or structure by your ways. And that would be the governments at that point. We are literally stealing children from their homes, where we know brain damage is caused when that happens every single time for parents and children. We know that the best place for children is in their primary environment. It's not even 50-50 custody. There's a lot of like actual science and psychology that is very fundamental and very real here. And we're handing this over to, what Sabrina said, these Freudian concepts. This is a social experiment. I mean, you guys, we did not have this, decades, centuries ago. Okay. This is a social experiment, just like the trans issue now. And how did that get onto children? Okay. This is a social experiment. And we're seeing, what about Oprah and her orphanages? What about Madonna and the Malawi children? What about Haiti? What have we been doing? What about the polio vaccines in India? These are all attacks on children. And we need to be realizing this. It's not a joke. It's not light. It's not, oh, that's silly. Oh, that's too much, and we're the ones addressing it now. So there's also that. There's also the good side.
We are addressing it now, and thank you so much, Meghan, for coming on and being brave to speak out about this, because I know it's not easy. I just really respect you for that. And this whole Nazi agenda that is our deep state military, our CIA, this is who they are. They're pedophiles, and they all have sex with men, and they run our country, and they run like NATO, and
they run everything.
They run, yeah. And it's just
yes, they do, and they actually, a lot of them, I won't make blanketed claims, but I think another thing people don't realize, an example being Hunter Biden, they live like Caligula. I think that's a better way, if people have seen the movie Caligula or know about Caligula and Babylon. And I mean, going back further, ladies, but, I think that people don't, Sabrina, what you were saying, I think people realize that this is the level that we're at, and it's not some out there horrific thing. They do it, in a very seductive, glamorized, normalized way. It's very bizarre. It's very evil.
Yeah. Very bizarre that they have had a completely different ideology than what normal people have, right?
It's because they're Satanists, and that's what people don't understand. They legitimately worship Satan, and what they're doing is part of worshiping Satan. And everything that's happening in this world, everything that's going on, all leads back to their Luciferianism. Like, that's what it is. Everything that's going on.
That's what I was going to say. Is, I mean, people, I know a lot of people are sick of hearing Satanists and this, rude guy with horns, but, a lot of people are, even down to our modern day church, are missing the Luciferian doctrine. All of this love and light, the Christ consciousness, all of that is Luciferian doctrine. New Age is Luciferian doctrine. Trans is Luciferian doctrine. It is transhumanism. They believe that they're gods, that they can be God, they can control your span, your lifespan, and your genetic. And there are people that are obsessed with this, and this is a great thing. We have many people who've been in trouble for it. Epstein, John of God, many women being dead.
Your audio got all messed up again. Meghan,
sorry.
That's okay.
Is that better? Okay.
Start about halfway back. Oh, dang it. I love listening to her. Well, before she comes back, oh my gosh, this is a great.
Well, no, because that's what all of this stems from, exactly what she's talking about.
I know. I want to give a shout out to it. I know. I want to give a shout out to people in the chat, Jamie. I'm gonna really pay attention this time. You guys, thank you so much for being here. I am just learning how to pause and sort of get the flow to go. So and say hi to everyone and not be in such a hurry. So Hi, Kelly. Thank you for being here. And F. Simon, good to see you. And there's, let's see, Unchained is in the chat. She's got a story that CPS took her son. It's terrible. Now, I kind of want to say why I feel passionate about this. And it is that CPS didn't take my children, but my husband did. My ex-husband did. And, he took all the monetary things away. I lost my house, our business, my job, my car, my husband, and my kids, because he knew that he couldn't hurt me by the money. I was like, whatever, just don't take the kids. What? No, he went and did this. He was so vindictive. And it is crushing. It is a soul crushing thing. It's like a death of your child while they're still alive. So my son does not speak to me still to this day. And we live in the same town, he got completely brainwashed by his dad. Anyways. So I am passionate about this. Using these psychiatrists and these lawyers and judges to take our children away it's horrific. So I really want to support you, and I want to give you a voice, not only for you and your children, but for any other women that have been in this position and have completely helpless. It's like,
or men. There's men in the thing too. Let's not just say women.
There is, and that's very real, Jamie. I really respect you for saying that, and Sabrina, that, when people go through this, especially mothers, and again, that's I'm only saying that because I'm not a father, so I can't say what I haven't experienced, but especially mothers, or anyone that goes through this, you connect on a level that is absolutely different than anything you can describe. Like Sabrina said, having your children taken, this is worse than a death sentence for families and for these parents. And this is happening every day. It is through the family courts. It is weaponizing a system against its own people that it's supposed to be caring for and loving, loving this whole unit, family unit, children, all this that we talk about, but it's really what's attacking and ruining us, and especially our children. So I really thank you, ladies, for giving us a chance to speak about this. Also, Sabrina, as you mentioned, again, psychiatrists, lawyers, all this, that's where the money is. The government is taking these children, and it's supposed to be the government handling them, and they cannot handle it because they need the money. They want the money, so they're taking the kids, and then they have all these children, so they're contracting it out to our local community businesses and nonprofits. That's what I was talking about earlier, about researching for yourself in your community. Because how they've been winning so far is that we're divided. They've spread this across 50 states, okay? And I'm just talking about America tonight. But they've spread this across 50 states. They've kept us divided. They've kept the kangaroo courts. There's no jury involved. There's no jury of your peers. There's none of that involved. There's no due process. So now we have the internet. We have, a way to connect and a way to really get things out and spread awareness. In the links that you all provided, I have put up an awesome little shop for awareness gear that we'll be building out. I'll be adding to, but that's really to get people starting conversations in your own community. It's a great conversation starter. We're not here fighting. We're standing, ladies. We're standing for what is right. We're not fighting anything. There's no tolerance for this. We do not make contracts with the devil, and we will no longer, even entertain this, right? We do not consent. So the shop, I think I did just start giving people a way to, find a way to do it on their own and in their community, as well as researching for themselves and kind of talking and looking into those people that are involved in this. So there are things that we can do, is the lesson here, the point here. There are things that we can do and ways we can get involved, ways we can be there for each other. And that's only going to grow. because we need good people. And the system is changing. We've talked a lot about a lot of heavy stuff tonight. It's been a lot of information, and we understand that. That's why we're here. You know, we are begging people to ask questions. We are begging people to get involved. Send us that information. We've broken down, you know, this all goes back to everyone's social security. It goes back to Maximus. There is so much to this that is very real. It is very logistical and fundamental, and, you know, it is all there for us. So it's time to do it. And I can't, again, thank you ladies enough for not only having me on tonight, but really supporting and also offering yourselves and your time to others. You know, this is really a place we all need to be moving towards. And I'm very grateful for both of you. I really thank you a lot.
Excellent. Yes. I just feel very called. I sort of have felt handicapped and stifled, almost just stuck for many years of my life, like not knowing what I was supposed to be doing, not knowing what I was like, why am I here? Right. And so now I can take all those things that I went through in my life and take those emotions, take those lessons, and join with other people to actually serve a purpose now. And be purpose.
Yes, preach, sister, because it's true. You know, I think we're all at a point, you know, and you know, with everything the past years and where we are as a country, look, we all have crap, right? We are all sinners in the eyes of the Lord. We all make mistakes. And, you know, I'm personally so sick of, you know, I was raised in Hollywood. I was raised in media. I was raised, you know, in a political environment, and it's all about perfection. That's part of Satanism and Luciferianism, by the way. But, you know, it's all about being perfect and having the answers. And, you know, that is a really empty space to be in. You know, we all are so unique. We all have our own hardships that are incredible and our own gifts. But we all also have synergy. We also have things that we all similarly go through. And when we can actually use that, like Sabrina, that is your testimony. That is an incredible testimony. Now we have this. That is what our souls long for. That's what God made us here for. And we all have different areas of expertise, and that's a beautiful thing. We all have our own lanes. So really, that in a beautiful, idealistic way kind of removes competition. And so we can come together and we can find our testimonies and our hardships are really great life purpose. You know, imagine how many children we're seeing them.
Oh, your audio's all messed up again. I'm really sorry. It's like, it's like doubled. It's like,
He always gets in there and then it happens.
I know. I'm so sorry, ladies. I'm sorry, but we have a good place to be at. You know, we're at a good place. We've made progress, but there's so much more, and it can happen overnight if we can just get this together. So thank you again. I don't want to cut up and us get cut off, but thank you.
Just real quick, before we end the show, I do have to thank my sponsors, because this is how I get by, or at least I'm trying to. So, you know, we're having this collapse. We're having this financial collapse, and the dollar is bottoming out. And I've been talking about, you know, precious metals, and I am a member with 7K Metals. What I like about 7K Metals is you don't have to have a whole bunch of money. You can buy incrementally silver bullion and gold bullion. You can buy $20 at a time and still pay the same amount per troy ounce as someone who's buying like $200,000, right? So little old me that's just not got any money, I have been able to, instead of wasting that money every month, I can buy silver. And I just know that, you know, there's a lot of, well, silver's going to be, I think, doing great. And everyone just please think about doing something. If you have an IRA or a 401k, they can help you move it to a precious metal backed IRA or 401k. And I'm going to play this little clip about the Sound Money wallet. So
One of the benefits of 7K Metals that I love the most is Sound Money Wallet. Inside of our Sound Money Wallet, we first must verify and authenticate our identity. Once we've done so, we can link our personal bank account to our Sound Money Wallet. We're able to fund our Sound Money Wallet by using funds from our checking or savings account, or we can actually fund it with cryptocurrency. 7K Metals converts that crypto or our cash balance into usable cash inside of our Sound Money Wallet. We have the ability as members to either purchase whole or fractional pieces of gold or silver whenever we want to, 365 days a year. Inside of our Sound Money Wallet, we can convert cash to silver or cash to gold with a couple of clicks of a button. When we do so, 7K Metals does not issue a 1099-B to the IRS. In other words, there's no reporting of how much silver or gold we've purchased. On top of that, 7K Metals also offers the highest buyback on gold and silver eagles in the marketplace, allowing us to convert our silver or gold that's stored inside of our Sound Money Wallet back to cash anytime we want to in the event of an emergency. There's no other benefit like that in the marketplace.
Okay, well, Megan left, but there's a few more people in the chat I wanted to say hi to. So I'm going to do that real quick, Miss Jamie. Good to see you, Just Jody. Just Jody's there. Patriot Mike is there. We are digitally aligned with Patriots Helping Patriots and Conservative Patriot Nation. You can find them on Rumble, on Telegram, and on Truth Social. Also, let's see. Oh, Juan. Juan, who's you know Juan. I don't know his last name. Soto.
I know Juan. Of course
Hey,
I know Juan. Hi, Juan.
Juan. Anyways, okay, you guys, you want to tell us a little close there, Miss Jamie? Anything else extra you want to say?
No, thank you, Megan, for being here. I actually just found out we're very close to each other. So I actually do want to reach out and see if there's anything going on locally around here that you know about that maybe I can help with as well. So
excellent.
Yeah, so I'll reach out for that. And thanks everyone for being here. Thanks, Megan. And honestly, tonight it's very heavy, but this is the kind of stuff that we have to talk about and we have to get out there because it is real and it is happening. And we have to stand up for our children. We have to stand up for what's right. And I just appreciate you too for being here, Sabrina, and talking about this with me.
Right. You are welcome. And again, ditto right back at you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Megan, for coming on and taking the time. Thanks everyone out there in the chat. I love you guys. I am going to close with, of course, my favorite Kay Griggs. We were just talking about these Nazi pedophiles.
Yeah.
So thanks, Jamie. I love you.
Love you.
We'll see you guys all next week. We are awakening humanity, one soul at a time for God and country. Love you.
Night, guys.
Yeah, that's what Jesus Christ would be doing if he were right here. He would be here right with me saying, go for it, little woman. You know, I'm giving you the strength to tell the daggone truth. And if you get killed tomorrow, you're going up there.
You're going to live forever.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, you guys. I just really am getting a kick out of this lady. Could you imagine being on the executive board of the Wives of NATO and learning all of this about the men that run our world? Wow. Anyways,